So the number one thing is safety. When she feels safe with him, because she feels connected. And when she feels connected, she feels safe. Number two thing is his sense of humor. Does your humor match with her humor? The number three thing is attention and interest. Does he take an interest in what I'm interested in? Does he pay attention? The next thing, being receptive to, and not intimidated, not threatened to what she brings to the table. And then the last one is a man with a plan, a man who knows where he's headed, confident about his future.
Welcome to the Daniele Hage podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Hage. Danielle is my mother-in-law and Nini to my three girls. She has 40 years experience in family and marriage relationships. She's been married for over 42 years to Steve Hage, who travels the world preaching the gospel. And together they pastor a church in Laguna Niguel, California. So welcome back, Danielle.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. We are following up in a different aspect of a podcast we did recently on the second podcast we did was a profound effects of attraction. And today we're going to talk about what causes a woman to fall in love.
Yes.
So previously we talked about what causes a man to fall in love and be attracted to a woman.
Right.
You're going to talk about the two types of attraction, but really we're going to take a deep dive into that emotional attraction of a woman towards a man.
Yes. So just to review a little bit, there's two different types of attraction. There's sexual attraction and there's emotional attraction. So when a woman is sexually attracted to a man, it ignites a chemical reaction in her, and it's almost like a cocktail of dopamine and testosterone mixed together that courses through her body, and it ignites that physical attraction. And what it does is it puts her in get mode. It's like she's got to have him, and she's going to do whatever it takes to get him, which actually could be a turnoff to a man because she'll hunt him.
Yeah.
And men don't want to be hunted by another man, but it's putting her in masculine mode. So that's not necessarily a good thing. But when a woman is actually emotionally attracted to a man, that's a different type of attraction. This is the thing that causes her to fall in love. When a man is just sexually attracted to a woman, he really just wants to have sex with her.
Yeah.
Doesn't cause him to fall in love. But if he's emotionally attracted to her, this is what causes him to fall in love with her. So today we want to talk about that different aspects of emotional attraction for a woman toward a man. So the number one thing, okay, that causes this emotional attraction is safety.
Yeah.
For a woman, that's a huge deal. She's got to feel safe with him. So what kinds of things cause her to feel safe? Anything that will cause her to feel connected to him. Mm-hmm. And one of those things is when he listens to her, when she feels that he hears her, he really sees her. This causes a connection, which causes her to feel safe, which causes her to be her most authentic self. She'll be vulnerable, especially when it comes to the bedroom. She'll be less inhibited when she feels free to talk about her dreams, her desires, her hopes, her fears, her passions, her future. And she really knows that he's listening. Yeah. This is huge. There is a connection there. So that's the biggest thing.
Okay. So as a woman, I would probably guess by having some girlfriends who are still or in the dating world and just hearing, chit chat or whatever and watching online, that a lot of times that attraction does start off as the physical attraction, especially as you're online dating and you're swiping and
just looking at a picture.
Yeah, just looking at a picture and reading a profile, there probably is that. So as a woman, how do you temper that, I guess?
Yeah.
And is that, how important is that sexual attraction, that physical attraction? How do you bleed over into the emotional attraction? Kind of what does that timeline look like to make sure you're getting the authentic attraction?
And that's the thing, just real quick, about the online dating, because I hear women all the time saying, or even men saying, I swiped because I wasn't attracted to them. And to me, it's like, wait a minute, you're only seeing the physical. You don't know what they're even about. And if you take the time to actually get to know people, you're not going to fall in love over a picture. Right. And yes, men are visual and they fall in love with their eyes. And that's just kind of, what is it called? Of course, they have to get to know the woman to really fall in love, but physical attraction is very big for a man and for women too. But until you take the time to find out what that person's about, the emotional attraction will never grow.
Yeah.
And I really believe because it happened to me with my husband. I wasn't attracted to him physically,
Yeah.
but I was getting to know him. I wasn't online dating 43 years ago, but as I got to know him and learn what he was about, the physical attraction grew on me. It began to grow
Right.
because of who he was, his personality, his sense of humor, all the things.
Yeah.
Because he caused me to feel very safe around him. Pretty soon, he became so physically attracted to me.
Yeah.
So that can grow on women. So I would say, take your time, get to know a person first.
Yeah. I would say the same thing for me and Christian
Yeah.
too. Definitely emotionally attracted first. But what you're talking about, the first thing of being safe.
Yeah.
I did not realize how attracted I was to Christian until we had dated or gone out to dinner a few times. And just the way he took care of me at dinner,
Right.
held the small on my back as we were walking through a crowded restaurant, opened the door for me,
Right.
made sure I got home safe. I
Treating you
realized,
like a lady.
yes, I had never experienced that level of, or that feeling of safety before.
Wow.
And that really did ignite the emotional
Yes,
attraction.
absolutely.
And like you're saying, then later, more of the physical attractions
Started to
developed
grow.
after that. Mhm.
Right. Okay, so safety is big. Guys, this is for you. Safety for a woman is huge. And again, number one way she feels safe is that she feels heard.
Mhm.
Okay. You listen to her, let her talk. Don't try to change her feelings. Don't try to fix her. Just let her talk. When I felt that kind of safety with my husband, I wouldn't shut up. I just started talking about everything and letting down my guard, letting him know everything about my life.
Yeah.
And he listened. He took the time and listened. And that was huge for me.
And is that a clue as a woman too, that you are connected, you are emotionally attracted to a man? Because
Well,
you
she'll
say
know.
if she's only physical attracted, she goes into crazy mode and she's
Right.
not her vulnerable self.
Right.
But if she is more emotionally attracted,
She'll
then
know
she's
it.
her most vulnerable self. And that's
Yeah.
where she'll start to talk. And
Right. She'll
let
become
herself.
less pleasing and adapting and more authentic. Because
Mhm.
when women are just pleasing and adapting, they're just trying to make you happy. They're just trying to be pleasing. And that's not being authentic because she'll keep her mouth shut and not say what she doesn't like or what she does like because she just wants to be pleasing. So you want a woman that is willing to open herself up and tell you the truth about who she is.
Yeah.
And men love that. They love that vulnerability in women.
Yeah.
All right. The second thing is a sense of humor. A sense of humor. And I hear men say all the time, if I can get her laughing, I know I got her. I've heard men say that. And that's true. So you have to figure out, does her sense of humor or your sense of humor, does it resonate? Do they connect? Because there's different flavors of humor.
Yeah.
There's wicked humor. There's slapstick humor. There's dry humor.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out, the kind of humor, does it match? Like I know for my husband, he is not into slapstick humor or that kind of humor. What is it called when you're trying to, play a joke, pranking somebody?
Right.
He doesn't think that kind of stuff is funny.
I guess. I don't know.
And it's a joke, but he doesn't think that kind of stuff is funny. Of course, I would never be. I'm not that person anyway. But I know with my husband, again, we were just friends, and I looked up to him because he was very, very smart, very wise. And I remember the very first time that he did something, and I remember I was doubled over laughing. I laughed so hard. I don't think anybody's ever made me laugh like that. And he was just being silly. And it was that night that I went, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to be around him again.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel something for this guy. And I wasn't attracted to him.
Yeah.
But there was something about his humor as I got to know him that he would just make me laugh so much. And it was a great feeling. It's a great feeling to laugh and to be happy, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. So you can ask yourself in a relationship, do you laugh together? Do you have fun together?
Yeah.
Like, does he think her humor is funny? Does he laugh at you? And that's the other thing with my husband. Like, he thinks I'm really funny. And I'm not that funny, but I make him laugh. And when I make him laugh because he's the funny one, it does something for me. I get so excited that like, oh, really? You're cracking up at something I said?
Yeah.
Because I'm not normally that funny. So, but that was the connection.
Yeah.
We were connecting.
That's good.
All right. The next thing, attention and interest. When a man pays attention to a woman, really, when he really takes an interest in what she's interested in, and it might be something that you're not interested in at all, but if she's really interested in cooking, let's say, and you take an interest and you ask her questions about it and what she's making, what kind of food is her favorite, and just take an interest, that is huge for a woman. Because again, it causes a connection there. And when you take an interest and pay attention, that's another thing that makes her feel safe. Did you see that
Right.
with you and Christian? Did he
Yeah.
take an interest?
Absolutely. I mean, by the time we met, I was in my career working.
Yeah.
And the interest that he took, he'd help me prepare for, certain seminars that I was getting ready for, or he'd just come hang with me. If I
Yeah.
was getting presentation slides ready, or I was teaching college at the time, getting a semester set up, he would just come and hang and be with me.
He just wanted to be around you.
Yeah, even if he had no
so cute.
interest in that.
Yeah.
But I do remember specifically, we were out to dinner one night and just getting to know each other, and something came up about like my favorite dessert, or I don't know. And I said a frosted sugar cookie, which still to this day, like I will give up all my macros for a frosted sugar cookie. And he took out his phone and took a little note, and I could tell he already had like a note going in his phone about me or what I liked, and he wrote it down. And then I'm pretty sure the next holiday or next little thing that came up, he came with a coffee, because he knew I love coffee, and sugar cookies.
Yeah. So men, if you are listening to this, that is key. When you remember something that she said and you bring it up later, or you remember something that she saw and she said, oh my gosh, I love that. And then you go buy that for her or something similar, that is huge because a woman will actually monitor the quality of your attention and interest that you're paying her. And when you remember something that already happened in your relationship and bring it up, or you go get it for her, or you remember she likes cream in her coffee or her favorite cookie and you put it on her desk, she's like, oh my gosh, he's paying attention.
Yeah.
He noticed. Oh my gosh, that is huge.
Yeah. Oh, I have a girlfriend right now who's dating, and now she's in a serious relationship. But when she started dating this guy, I mean, she's a high profile person. She is super attractive. She is very successful. And so she can, she attracts all sorts of men. But the guy that she has chosen to be in a long-term relationship with, he made those little notes.
Right.
And he
Smart
brought
man.
something that she would not think to put out. She would never put out, oh, I love this or that, the quirky little things that we love, right? Or interested in, that you would never put on a dating profile, but he picked up on it. And he brought her that as a gift. And then she noticed, because she had talked about me and my husband, because we're all very close, and she noticed that when she talks about those people in her life who are very important, he had notes in his phone as well.
Gosh.
So he had one of me and Christian.
Oh my gosh.
Because he was looking forward to meeting us, knowing that we are an important part of her life. And if he wants to be in her life, he needs to also know about us as well.
That is huge. That's huge.
I saw the level of attraction go up at that point when she told me that.
Absolutely. So men, take notes.
Yeah.
Take notes. That's big. And that's genuine. Like, I don't think you can fake the interest and attention. I think it's genuine. When a man is genuinely interested, he wants to know everything about her. Who are your friends? Tell me about your family. How were you raised? Do you have a good relationship with your siblings? Like when he's he wants to know those things for a woman. It's like, I want him to know everything about me. And that's huge. That's huge. If a woman feels that a man is very sexually attracted more than emotionally, she will sense his hunger. She will sense that he's trying to get something from her, and that will be a turnoff for her, just so you guys know. Okay, another thing is that the way that a man cherishes a woman is huge for her. Women need to be cherished. When a woman is cherished, she's going to feel that you honor and respect her. Both men and women need to be cherished and respected. And when a woman respects a man, he will feel honored and cherished by her. Yeah. So cherishing is huge. And this means that he holds her in high regard. He'll put her interests above his own. And I've gotten pushed back a little bit on social media when I say that. And a lot of times from some of the men, they'll say, well, I'm not going to put her purpose above mine. I didn't say purpose. Yeah. I said interests. Yeah. Sometimes putting her ambitions above your own. Of course, if she's ambitious for a reason, and it doesn't mean you lay down your purpose for hers, but you learn to work your purposes hand in hand, which makes a great connection. You have purpose together, and she's behind your purpose, and you're supporting her in hers. That is huge for a woman. When you are providing for her, not just for what is important to her, but provision isn't just financial. When you're providing for her emotionally and spiritually, when whatever she brings to the table, you honor that. You're not threatened or intimidated by what she brings to the table.
Yeah.
And I hear women these days, women who are very successful,
Yeah.
beautiful, smart women that are single, that want a man. And what they tell me is, what do? I find that men are intimidated by me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and I just say, well, then the men that you've met, none of them are the right one, because
Yeah.
the right one will respect who you are and what you've achieved. It won't threaten him. He'll be applauding it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he's
Supporting it.
secure enough and confident enough in who he is as a man, in his masculinity, that he
Mhm.
won't be bothered that maybe you make more money or you have a better house.
Yeah.
He'll be appreciating who
Yeah.
you are. So, and those men are out there.
That's been a common thread in our relationship. I think that was one of the first, after realizing these little things of safety and attention that emotionally attracted me to Christian. I think the first thing I ever told him to clue him in on my attraction was, I feel supported by you. I feel like you're my cheerleader.
Yes,
And he always has been. My career has shifted and changed. And obviously, as we've been married for over a decade and moved around a bit and had kids, so my life goals and purpose and all that has shifted. But in every season, no matter what it is that I'm pursuing, even in the pursuit right now of motherhood and homeschooling, I mean, he is 100% there supporting me, putting my interest at his top level of interest, wanting to talk about it, wanting to engage in it, wanting to try to figure out the provision to help support me in whatever I need to pursue those.
That's huge.
interests.
And, I've had some success, with this podcast in the last few months. And it's so funny to me because women are coming up to me and even to my husband, and they're saying things like, "Are you okay, Steve?" Or, "Daniele, how is Steve handling your success?" And it just makes me laugh. I start cracking up because that thought never even occurred to me, because my husband is my number one cheerleader.
Yeah.
He is the president of my fan club. I mean, he is my biggest supporter, going, go, 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 do whatever you have to do. And I think in a healthy relationship, when one of you is winning, you're both winning.
Yes.
When one of you is empowered, you're both empowered. So, and my husband has had many, many successes over the years. He's very secure in who he is and in our relationship, that he would never be threatened by that. And if you are with a man who is threatened, that's his own issue.
Yeah.
Like, that's his own insecurity, and he has to work on that. But when you love each other, you want each other to grow and be the best version of themselves they can be. So that's not a problem. So that it would be we talked about safety. We talked about attention and interest. That would be the third thing. A man that is receptive to what the woman brings to the table.
Okay.
Not intimidated, not threatened, but is cheering her along all of the whole way.
That's good.
All right. So the next thing would be, and this might be the last thing, and I'm sure there are more things that cause a woman to fall in love, but these are the top things.
Yeah.
The last one is, and women find this very, very attractive, a man with a plan. A man who knows where he's headed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
He may not have all the details worked out yet,
Mhm.
but I know this is one of the things that caused me to become very attracted to my husband. We were very young. I was 18 when I met him. He was 21.
Yeah.
But you know what? He was so confident in where he was headed. And I was kind of blown away by that because he was so young, but he knew beyond a shadow of a doubt exactly where he was headed, what he wanted to do with his life. And that felt secure to me.
Yeah.
It brought me security because I had no idea
where
I was headed. I had no idea what I was doing. I was only 18. I was in
didn't
college.
18 either.
Right? But he was so certain about where he was headed, and he wanted me on board with him.
Yeah.
He knew he wanted to take me with him, and I found that it brought me a security. It made me feel safe, and it was attractive to me that he had such a confidence about him.
Okay, and we've talked about this before, and this is just a little bit of a rabbit trail, but there are men who will bring in their queen and build the kingdom. So talk
along with them.
Yeah. So just talk a little bit about that, because it's important as a woman becomes attracted to a man to understand where he is too, and where he's going to bring you in. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we did do, and I'm not sure which episode, but we talked about the stages of men and what you can expect and never expect from a man depending on his age, depending on the stage of life that he's in. And so, there's some men that they want to build their career, their kingdom before they marry. because they want to build their castle and then move their queen in.
Yeah.
But there's some men that want to build along with their woman,
Yeah.
with their queen. And that was my husband. He wanted a partner as we went along. We got married at a very young age. He was 22, I was 19 when we got married. And he knew that what kind of partner he needed to take with him. But I always tell women, and men, if a man doesn't know where he's going, he has no idea what partner he needs.
Yeah.
What he needs for support, or if that woman will support him.
Mm.
So he first has to figure out where it is, what he wants to build, what kind of kingdom, and where he wants to build it before he can pick somebody to go with him.
Okay. So a man with a plan.
A man with a plan, very attractive. And that's why you see some men that don't get married till a little bit later in life. Maybe they're late 30s or 40s. Yeah. And even when I've talked to men about the different stages that men go through, they have come to me and said, oh my gosh, I understand myself better.
Yeah.
Like this one man, he was 45 years old before he got married, maybe even pushing 50. And it took him a while to figure out what kind of woman he needed. And it wasn't until he was in his late 40s that he finally settled down and picked the right woman for him. And they're still married today and very happy.
Yeah,
but it helped him to understand, this is why I'm still single. No shame in not knowing where you're headed at 18 years old.
Right.
I think I had an 18-year-old young man ask me the other day, how will I know when I'm ready to be married? And my question to him was, well, where are you headed?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where you're going?
Yeah.
And he was like, I said, you're not ready.
Yeah.
I go, when you know where you're going, when you have a plan, when you know what your purpose is, then you'll know the kind of woman you need to take with you.
So how do we as women listen for that? Because I have heard girlfriends before say, well, I see the potential in him,
Yeah.
and we dream a lot. And there's all these, could be's and what ifs and some days.
Right.
But how do we condition ourselves to listen for that plan and know it's more than just like, I swear I see the star above him. He's going to be great. Someday he's going to fully realize his potential.
Yeah. Well, I would say don't marry a man on his potential. Because that can change. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And you might see a potential in him that he doesn't see.
Yeah.
And so you've got it all figured out where you want him to go and what you want him to be and how much money you want him to earn. And it may not happen that way. And here's a little tidbit I'm just going to throw out there right now. I think it fits here is, ladies, you need to be aware that there's something that men do that makes women crazy. Okay? Especially in the dating phase. Men speak a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
And they speak them out loud and they forget that there's a woman listening. But she's not listening for the possibilities.
Yeah.
She's listening for plans and promises.
Yeah.
Because that's concrete, a plan and a promise. But men will just off the top of her head say, hey, I can't wait to introduce you to my mom. And I want to take you on a trip to Vegas. And I can't wait to take you to this really cool restaurant that I've been to. And I want to introduce you to my friends. And then it doesn't happen right away. Mm-hmm. And she's thinking, oh my gosh, so he's talking.
He basically said he loves me.
He's in love with me. And he's still going to be dating me next year because he wants to take me on that trip, in a few months. So we're still going to be dating in a few months.
Right.
And he's just speaking possibilities. And then he doesn't do it. Those few months come and go. Mm-hmm. And then she starts going, what a flake. He's a man that doesn't keep his word. I'm over him. What's wrong with him? He's lied to me. And maybe he never committed to anything. Yeah. Maybe he was just speaking possibilities, thinking about how that'll look. But he talks about it out loud. And men, don't do that. Keep that to yourself, because just be aware that a woman who is dating a man, she wants a plan and a promise.
Yeah.
And ladies, remember, he's not committed to anything. He's just talking. So you can't take emotional delivery. And even in marriage, my husband has said things like, hey, I think next summer we're going to go to Italy. And I immediately.
Yeah, you start verboing.
I get on the computer and start, Googling the best ticket. And what season do we want to go?
Where do we want to go?
And he'll go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm going to book a ticket. He goes, whoa.
I never planned anything.
I'm not ready to do that. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Possibilities. He's just talking possibilities.
Yeah.
But we take emotional delivery. So ladies, just a little tidbit for you. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Wait until it's actually a plan with a set date and a ticket.
All right. Today's been so good. So just very quickly recap the 5 things that causes a woman to fall in love with a man.
Okay. So the number one thing is safety. When she feels safe with him, because she feels connected. And when she feels connected, she feels safe. Number 2 thing is his sense of humor. Does your humor match with her humor? The number 3 thing is attention and interest. Does he take an interest in what I'm interested in? Does he pay attention? The next thing would be, what did we
Receptive
say?
to what she brings to the table.
Very good.
Yeah.
Being receptive to, and not intimidated,
Yeah.
not threatened to what she brings to the table. And then the last one is a man with a plan, a man who knows where he's headed, confident about his future.
Yeah, so good. All right. Well, I love those 5 things. Men, we let you in on some secrets today. So make sure you're watching and sharing this with your men friends. And women, this is just more information, tools for your toolbox. And we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you you subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified when a new podcast comes out. And make sure you follow Daniele on Instagram and Facebook.